Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to J Wall Sports. We are back here with another episode.
Another. Hey, Pistol,
This,
our receiver, hit my line. Hit my line.
what is up with you in this? When you bench your seasoned veteran quarterback this late in the season, it's sending a message to the team.
Then goes out. And now they want to play with some heart. They want to play with some effort.
I see why Doc got fired. If you're not gonna make the adjustments as a coach, you need to go up and get up out of here.
Wentz has regressed. And it's a mental.
Disclaimer: he might have some outrageous, Max Kellerman type, things to say today. I don't know what he's gonna say, but the way he's starting off his video is giving me them vibes. What's up, J Wall Sports fans? It's your boy Lamarck Wiley Jr. back here with another episode. And I'm here with Keith McBride from Keith Hot Take stepping in for Nice Shine today. Keith, man, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How about you?
Hey, man, I can't complain, man. It's opening night was Tuesday. Yeah, opening night was Tuesday. It was a lot of good basketball on. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, they looked really good. My Lakers, I got a few, I'm always so hard on my Lakers. So I got a few problems with my Lakers that I'm just gonna have to hash out.
Yeah, for sure. The Lakers, they look good. Westbrook's gonna have to pick it up. It was very disappointing to see Braun and AD play so well, and for Westbrook not to have such a good shooting night. I think he was kind of pressing it looked like, and I think he should have just let things come naturally to him instead of pressing.
I think you're muted, bro.
On the
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, there we go. We can hear you now. So you were talking about the Bucks and how the Lakers. Go ahead and just say that piece again for the listeners.
Oh, my bad. I was saying how LeBron and AD, they played really well. LeBron, he looked really well. He was knocking down the three, and he looked really good. AD was aggressive, and I just feel like Westbrook, he was trying to press it a little too much, and he was a little too aggressive. And I think he just needs to let things come naturally to him and cut down on the turnovers.
But that's not really Westbrook game though. I mean, Westbrook, he's an attacker. He's gonna make the game come to him. He's gonna go out there and take it, which I think that's what we need him to do. He just has to find that balance, Like we didn't have a lot of bench scoring, so that bothered me too. But we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that. So
Sure.
for first things first, man, let's go ahead and talk about what's gonna happen tonight, which is really it's a little scary because the Browns and the Broncos will be facing off against each other. And due to Baker Mayfield being out this week with a shoulder injury, we will have two former Viking quarterbacks face off. Teddy Bridgewater for the Broncos and Case Keenum, who will be starting for the Browns, will be facing off for the first time in their careers. Keith, who do you have winning this game and why?
I got to take the Broncos here. The Browns, they just have too many injuries. And I know Teddy Bridgewater, I think he had like a quad in his knee. It was kind of questionable if he was going to play tonight,
Quad
but
and
he's
foot.
going quad and foot. Okay. Thankfully he's playing, so I'm more confident in my Broncos pick. I think that defense is going to get after Case Keenum. And I don't know what weapons he's going to have available tonight. Odell has a shoulder injury. We know Chubb and Kareem Hunt is not going to play. So hopefully they're able to get a run game where everything doesn't have to fall on his shoulders. But I just think Von Miller and that defense is going to get after him, and Teddy Bridgewater and that offense will do enough. And the Broncos will snap their 3-game losing streak.
Right. I completely agree with you. I'm going to go with the Broncos to win this game. And mainly because I don't think that Case Keenum is going to be able to overcome all the problems that the Broncos have. No, but the Browns have. I mean, no Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt, no OBJ. Baker Mayfield is out. Jarvis Landry is still out. I mean, that's just a lot of injuries for the backup quarterback to try to overcome. But with Case Keenum, like I have so much respect for him because you got to remember, like in 2018, that was the Minneapolis Miracle. I mean, he led a team to the NFC Championship. He very well can win this game if there was just the injury to like Baker Mayfield. You know, but with Kareem Hunt being out, Nick Chubb being out, their third string running back having to play. But that's yeah. And then on the Broncos side, Teddy Bridgewater, he's still questionable with the foot/, quad injury. So Drew Lock, he may be in. We know Drew Lock, he's no risk it, no biscuit kind of guy. So his turnovers and everything. That's a little it's a little different.
Yeah, if Drew Lock starts, I'm not gonna feel as confident in my Broncos pick, but uh, I just feel like Von Miller. He hadn't had a sack in 2 games, so I know he's gonna be hungry tonight. And that defense, they kind of have given up a lot of points to the Ravens and the Raiders the last 2 weeks. So I feel like they want to kind of prove that they're still an elite defense. But I think Cleveland's defense is gonna have to step up big tonight. Uh, with all the injuries that they have on offense, I feel like that defense is going to have to get back into being the dominant defense that I think they can be. But they've given up a lot of yards and points the last 2 weeks, so I think they're going to have to get a few turnovers. They're going to have to help out this offense because of all the injuries that the Browns have.
Right. And then personally, I think like it's gonna be we're not. It's not even really gonna be an offensive game. It's gonna be a defense game. Like which defensive team can score the most points is going to be the defensive team that's going to win this game. Because I don't think the offense is really going to score. Because like these are two really good defenses. Like the Browns are ranked number 2 in the league in yards allowed, and the Broncos are ranked number 4, number 5 in the league in yards per game, yards allowed per game. So they both are really good at stopping, teams and limiting them. So especially, injuries and subpar talent on the offensive end at this point right now compared to, what the starters are. So that's gonna be it's gonna be very interesting.
For sure. We have to see. And the Broncos, they're really good at taking away the run. I know they kind of gave up a lot of rush yards to the Steelers, but I still think that's something they're good at, stopping the run. I'm starting both of the Cleveland third string and fourth string running backs tonight, so hopefully they're able to have big
Whew,
games. I had to my
that
running back.
that's very bold, man. Is
Yeah,
that is that is that was your best option?
yeah, because Kareem Hunt went on the IR and Tony Pollard's on a bye week, so I had to pick up somebody, or I was going to be in
Ooh,
trouble this week.
yeah,
and
man.
and I couldn't get Herbert. I think that was the Bears running back, so I had to get the next best thing, and that was picking up the third
You
and
couldn't
fourth.
get the Ravens. You couldn't get one of the 4 Ravens running backs.
No, I tried to get Devontae Freeman, but in my league, I'm like 10th in the waiver order, so I guess
Ah,
somebody else was trying to get him because but I was able to add the third and fourth string without going through the waiver process. So I just have to make do with what I got this week.
hey, man, I understand you. And look, you aren't the only one that has to make do with what they got this week, because the Chiefs and the Titans both they got to make do with what they got this week as they match up. Now, they have a lot to work with because they don't have any injuries, but this is gonna be a great game. Like when we was on your podcast yesterday, you said that this is your game of the week. And both of these teams, they're coming off some pretty impressive wins, and they're going to be looking to make a statement on Sunday when they face off. The Chiefs are favored minus 240 to win the game. Keith, who are you going to take?
I'm taking the Chiefs. It was really close because I'm very concerned about their defense and how they plan on stopping Derrick Henry because he's just been a man on a mission the last 5 games. If I remember correctly, I think he's had 130 yards in every game the last 5 games. So the Chiefs are not very good at stopping the run. And I have no idea how they are going to deal with AJ Brown and Julio Jones. But I just think Patrick Mahomes and his offense, they're going to win a shootout. And they can't really afford to lose many more games to keep pace in that division. The Chargers and Raiders are 2 games up on them. So they really can't afford to lose too many more games. So I think they're going to be desperate, and they're going to find a way to win a shootout in Nashville.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Personally, I think that Patrick Mahomes, he's understanding the assignment, and they're establishing the run game effectively. Like that in that second half, like you could see that Patrick Mahomes was back to being who Patrick Mahomes is, and everything that Patrick Mahomes does, it just started coming so at such an ease to him in that game, and that's what the Chiefs are going to need. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to make plays, but Patrick Mahomes needs to know when Patrick Mahomes needs to throw some things away.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because
he.
because
I was
you
just gonna
remember.
say,
Go ahead.
yeah, I just gonna say one more thing. I mean, he tries to be Superman
For sure.
on every play when sometimes we don't need him to be Superman. The Chiefs don't need him to be Superman.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of presses sometimes because he knows that defense is so bad, so he feels like he has to make every throw. And I didn't like it. He was basically sacked, and he tried to throw the ball last week against Washington, and it was an interception that took away 3 points off the board. So I feel like he doesn't need to try so hard and press the issue. I know your defense isn't as good as they've been in the past, but you just have to, make the right reads, make the right throws, and you got the type of offense where teams are really just not giving y'all the deep shot. They're giving you the intermediate stuff. So just take the easy stuff and don't try to force things. I think that's the key for them.
I mean, but when he made that pass as he was falling, that's something that Patrick Mahomes does all the time, though. Like he instead of taking the sack and he's on the outside of the tackle, so it won't be intentional grounding. He's gonna throw as he's being sacked because he waits till the last second because he's always looking for somebody. And then he like, oh dang, I'm getting a tackle, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna throw this out of bounds. Like, how many times have we seen Patrick Mahomes do that exact same thing last season and it's successful? And we're like, how does he get away with that? And we said, well, not we as in me and you, but a lot of people in the media department said, like, yo, like, it's all good and gravy now, but like, there's gonna be a time where that's gonna catch him, and he's gonna have to dial that back a little. And we are at that time where he has to dial that back now. And we saw that in the second half against Washington, and I think we're gonna see that against this Titans defense.
Yeah, the Titans defense, they kind of showed some flashes last week against Buffalo. I feel like you're going to have to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes, but you can't let him out the pocket because that's when he can make crazy magical throws. But somehow, someway, they're going to have to find a way to deal with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, and even Josh Gordon. So uh, how they do that, I don't know, but I definitely think you're gonna have to get some pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and just make sure you don't let him outside the pocket where he can be Magic Mahomes. So yeah,
Right. And I don't necessarily think that this game is gonna be a shootout, but it's gonna be high. It's gonna be a high scoring game. But I can't necessarily call it a shootout because Ryan Tannehill is not. He's not surviving in a shootout. It's gonna happen in the run game because Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. Like I think Derrick Henry, he's averaging 130 yards per game at this point. So we know that he's going to have a big game on the Chiefs. I probably see him rushing for about 130, 140. But can the Titans win the time of possession? Because that if the Titans can win time of possession, then that's how they can win the game. Because they if they are so run heavy with Derrick Henry that they have to win that time of
that's
possession.
possession.
But yeah, but the injuries is what's really like taking me away from picking the Titans in this game because Julio, he's back in the IR with a hamstring injury, and Chester Rogers, he's questionable. Well, they're both listed as questionable. And Rogers has the growing injury, and those are two injuries that you don't really play with.
Yeah, for sure. Those are tricky injuries. I hate Julio. He can't seem to stay healthy lately. So those are going to be, if they don't have those guys, it's going to be really tricky. But to go back to your time of possession point, I saw this on ESPN the other week. The Chiefs are 2-6 when they're held to less than 25 minutes of time of possession, compared to 37-3 when they have 25 minutes or more time of possession. So it may be smart for the Titans to try to keep the ball away from the Chiefs. And like you said, ground and pound with Derrick Henry, because he's had 100 yards every week the last couple of weeks. So that may be the key.
Right. I completely agree with you. That's a wowing stat, and I don't know how to feel about that. The statistic you just gave me right there, because a lot of the times, like the Chiefs, they go down the field in 3, 4, 5, 6 plays, and they'll be done in like 3 minutes. Compared to like some teams, they'll have like a 9-play, 8-minute drive, and they just slowly work it down the field. So that's an interesting stat, and I just overall just don't know how to really feel about that one.
Yeah, but now teams, they're playing like two high safeties, and they're making the Chiefs, have those longer drives just because of how
Hmm.
explosive their offense is, and you don't want to let Tyreek Hill get over your head, because if you do, it's a
Right. I
wrap.
mean, but you're not gonna hold Tyreek Hill the entire time. Tyreek Hill is gonna get at least one or two over the top, and those are gonna be, those are gonna extend it. And if they could get a run game going, that's their number one problem. They can't really establish a run game because the safeties can sit back because they know they're not really gonna run the ball. I mean, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when he comes off the IR list, that'll help a lot because I mean Williams is doing good, but Helaire, he has that different kind of feel to him. So if they could get their run game going, I mean, get you like 3, 4 runs on a drive, or even a couple plays where you can move the chains on a run game, in 1 or 2 plays. And now your safety's gonna come in because now we gotta deal with this run game. And that's why I thought Le'Veon Bell last year was gonna be such a great pick for them, because it was gonna start to open everything up in the deep end for Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, who they had last year, but now open some stuff up for Josh Gordon and Travis Kelsey if he's healthy this game, because I know he was questionable with I think it was the shoulder injury.
So
Yeah. So hopefully he can come back.
for sure.
Yeah. But moving on, man, this is a great topic right here. Hey, for all my basketball fans in the chat, in the listening right now, hit the like, fan, because we're finna talk about the Bucks and the Nets and the I mean not the Bucks, but the Bucks and the Nets, man. The Bucks and the Nets, that was a really good game. The Bucks went at the Nets, and they had a really big win, winning 127 to 104. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he led all scorers, and he was tied with Kevin Durant. He had 32 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, and the stat that shocked me the most, he was 7 of 9 from the free throw line. I mean,
Yikes.
7 of 9. We've seen Giannis have some really terrible free throw shooting, and he was 7 of 9. I mean, KD was being KD. He had 32 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists, but Giannis was really killing it. I mean, how impressed were you with Giannis on his opening day?
Yeah, Giannis, he looks like he's ready to try to run this thing back. They look really good. And I think if he's able to, constantly hit free throws like that, and he's able to establish a mid range and a 3-point shot, I think Giannis is going to be impossible to guard, because normally people would just foul him because he hasn't been a good free throw shooter. So I was really impressed with them, and I just think KD probably needed a little more help in his starting lineup. I know Harden had 20, and Claxton had 12, but I just feel like if you're gonna let Giannis go off, you can't let Middleton go off as well. I feel like you have to neutralize one of the two. Uh, and yeah, this was a very impressive win for the Bucks, and I think Patty Mills is going to be huge for the Nets this year, because I was hearing he kept them in the game in the first half. If it wasn't for him, they probably would have been getting blown out. So that's going to be a huge pickup for them. And I think they miss Kyrie, so we'll have to see what happens with him.
Yeah, I mean, not having Kyrie is such a key piece for this team because Kyrie is that go getter, is that go bucket getter. Because we already know Kyrie just he scores the ball in such an effective way that it you can't match it to anybody else. James Harden, he scores in an effective way, but James Harden, he's gonna fill up every single one of your stat sheets. You know, he's gonna have the points, he's gonna have the rebound, he's gonna have the assists. I mean, KD, he's gonna have the points, he's gonna have the rebounds, but that third consistent score is really what they need. And once they try to figure out, how Patty Mills can, take over some of Kyrie's role. I mean, and Patty Mills is not going to be able to just do it all by himself. I mean, it's going to have to go with Blake Griffin doing it also, and LaMarcus Aldridge. They are all going to have to come together and fix this problem.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the stat sheet. Patty Mills was the only guy off the bench who gave him anything, and I think that's not going to work when you play the Bucks because of how deep their bench is. The Bucks, I see they had two guys off their bench to give them 35 points, and Patty Mills was the only guy off the Nets bench that gave them anything. So, if you're going to beat the Bucks, you're going to have to, have your starters contribute, but you're going to need a couple guys off the bench to match their guys off the bench. And having Patty Mills is the only guy to score more than everybody else. I don't see nobody else to score more than 2 points. So that's not going to work for the Nets. So they're going to need to get more bench play from their bench players.
Right. And that's another thing that I talked about, and I wrote that in my notes. The bench production for the Nets is going to be very big, and the rim protection, because they have LaMarcus Aldridge, they have KD, they got Blake, they have Claxton. He's 6'11", and he didn't have no blocks. I mean, you can't be out there 6'11" and you ain't got no blocks, sir. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to be the rim protector, because LaMarcus Aldridge, he's never been a rim protector. So not gonna try to ask him to do something that he's never done in his career, because it's just not a part of his game. It's not in his DNA. KD can be a rim protector, but most of the time KD, he's probably guarding Giannis, or he was probably guarding Chris Middleton, and they are on the outside. If they're not driving, then you can't really be a rim protector. So KD was on the outside. He only had one block, but I'm gonna need KD. You have to slide that whole defense down. You have to slide that whole defense down so you can, get those blocks, or at least contest. Blake Griffin, you have 0 blocks, so we're gonna need you to get that going. Get some blocks in there. At least contest. I mean, I know it's a little hard because this Bucks team, they have a lot of size.
Yeah, they do. Looking here at their starters, they start Lopez, Giannis, Chris Middleton. So yeah, they have a lot of size. So um, I heard Ruff say that Giannis was bullying Claxton, because I didn't really look at the game. I was prepping for my show, so I really didn't get to look at the game. But I heard Giannis was bullying Claxton, and Claxton, you can't let that happen. You're 6'11", use your size, use your length, and contribute for this team. So if the Nets are gonna want to beat the Bucks, then they're gonna have to get more bench play from somebody else besides Patty Mills, because he was the only starter. I mean, the only person off their bench who gave them anything. So that's the biggest difference in that game.
And let's jump into the Celtics versus the Knicks. I mean, the Celtics and the Knicks, a double overtime game in your opening night. That was a great game to go ahead and watch. I mean, they were killing. I mean, Evan Fournier, he broke a record for the most points by a Knick in their first game as a New York Knick. Jaylen Brown broke the record for the most points by a Celtic in the first game of the season. So they both were balling. I mean, Evan Fournier, 32 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. I mean, 4 steals? Boy was on the Clintons on defense. And then Jaylen Brown, 46 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. I mean, I don't even know what one topic we can centralize around this. I mean, sorry, Keith, Just tell me overall, how did you feel about this game?
So I only got to see the overtime because I was looking at App State and Coastal Carolina, but the overtime it was just crazy. Both teams just hitting big shots. It was going back and forth. Evan Fournier, man, he that was a huge pickup for them because he had so many big shots in overtime, and I really think it hurt Jaylen Brown that Jason Tatum kind of really had an off night. I know he had 20 points, but he was really struggling last night. I see here he went 2 of 15 from three. So Jaylen Brown just needed Jason Tatum to shoot a little better because I see Randall and Evan Fournier, both of them went over 30 last night, and that was the difference. And the Knicks got something from all their starters last night, all of them in double figures, so that was huge. And this is a great game, and I know both teams have probably slept well last night after this game because it was just epic back and forth, and I really enjoyed the game last night.
I disagree with you, man. If I'm the Celtics, man, I did not sleep good. A double overtime loss is very like taxing on like your body, the brain, and mentally that is draining to have that double overtime loss.
Yeah, it's probably
So
hard to recover from something like that. It's harder for the team that lost to, get back up for that. So I can see what you're saying there. So I know they probably were mad that they lost that, especially Jaylen Brown. I've never seen him play that good. So yeah.
right, Jalen Brown, he was out of his mind. Like I was like, good God, and he just came COVID protocols. Like he practiced. What was the day? Yesterday was Wednesday, so he practiced Tuesday, and then he was able to play on Wednesday, and he was balling. I mean, 8 of 14 from the three, 16 to 30 overall, and he was feeling. He almost had a triple double. I mean, he was 1 rebound shy and 4 assists shy of having a triple double. So Jalen Brown was having an amazing night. I mean, but one player that really shocked me was Evan Fournier because Evan Fournier, he was on the Celtics last year. I mean, if Evan Fournier could have played like a half of this well with the Celtics last year, I mean, they could have went a lot deeper in the playoffs. I mean, because they would have had another score. I mean, but him and Kimball Walker, they both went to the Knicks, and they're hooping.
Yeah, the Garden was rocking last night. Just a great atmosphere for opening night for the Knicks. And yeah, I mean, hey, Evan Fournier, I mean, he's kind of like a streaky shooter. So when he's hot, you better get on him, get the ball out of his hands, because if you let him get rolling, it's a wrap. And I think he started out that overtime. I think he had like two or three in a row, and he just couldn't miss for the first one. Neither team could at the beginning
Right.
of that. That was crazy. Just
Yeah,
back and
we ended
forth.
out overtime. It was like you get a three, you get a three, you get a three. It was like good. I was like, good God. I was
Are they
like,
gonna
yo, they
miss?
is shooting the lights out, right? I thought the whole overtime was gonna be 3 pointers. I was like, I'm low key, I'm cool with it because that just makes the game tougher. Like, I mean, like, yo, all right, I hit a three, boom, okay, we up three. Dang, they hit a three too. It's like anything you could do, I could do better. Like, and they was really trying to prove that point. I mean, but overtime is when the legs started to go, and it went for everybody. But I mean, Jalen Brown didn't really have any kind of help, down towards the end. I mean, the bench, the bench for the Knicks was like they they help keep the keep the Knicks legs sort of healthier
Pressure, yeah.
in sort of a sense. Yeah, I mean, because you have honestly only three people on the Knicks starting lineup played 40 plus minutes, and that was Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and RJ Barrett. Those three players played over 40 minutes. But when you look to the Celtics, all of the starters except for Grant Williams played 40 plus minutes, and that's like because like you don't even have that one person that can be like, all right, like I got a little bit fresher legs, like I can go get a bucket. Like Kemba Walker, he had a little bit fresher legs, so he was able to get some things, a driving kick that was gonna get Fournier or Bear open, or and then Julius Randle. I mean, he was just
Pressure.
Julius Randle. He almost had a triple double too. I mean, he had 35, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. He was hooping.
Yeah, Julius Randle is special, and I think it was huge for the Knicks. They made a substitution going into that second overtime, bringing in a fresh Derrick Rose, and I think that helped because he hit a big shot late in the second overtime that really put it on ice and won the game for the Knicks. So that was huge.
Right. I mean, I'm I'm really wild at that game. I was not. I mean, the Knicks, they had a great season last year, you know, and I just didn't know how they was gonna, come up. And I wanted coach for the. I'm not know how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna butcher that if I try. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know. I
Tom
want to
Tom
mess his name
Thibodeau.
up.
Or,
No, not Tom Thibodeau. I
oh,
got Tiz down, but the Celtics head coach, his name is a little difficult. So uh I wanted him to get his first win because black coaches. I always want. I'm trying. I want us. We're being put more in leadership roles in the NBA, and I just want everybody to be successful in those roles in the NBA. I mean,
uh, to speak on that.
Keith, your cousin, he didn't get to play last night, but I was hoping he was gonna get in.
Oh, who's my cousin? You talking about Miles McBride?
Yeah, Miles McBride, man. I was hoping he was gonna get in.
Oh yeah, because I mean that's what Tibbs like. Those defensive stoppers, somebody that's really gonna get after it on the defensive end. So I'm
Right.
surprised he didn't play. Last night. But I mean, neither one of them really used their bench. Or the Knicks did more than the
Yeah, I
Celtics.
was say the Knicks did. The Knicks only two players didn't play for the Knicks. I mean, the Celtics. He went to like a playoff kind of rotation. He was like, all right, hey, we're gonna have this 9-man rotation right here. If you get in, you get in. And if you don't, hey, stay ready.
Yeah, I see.
Because Jabari Parker didn't even play, and Enos Cancer didn't play.
Yeah, that's surprising. I see Schroeder
Whoa,
play.
wait. Enos Cancer didn't play. That's what. Okay. This loss makes so much more sense now because if Enos Cantor didn't play, then Robert Williams was your only true center in the game to play the entire time. I mean, if you would have put Enos Cantor in the game, I mean, I understand. Enos Cantor, he's not a great offensive threat, but he will protect your rim.
And
He's gonna
rebound.
make it difficult. I mean, he'll play help defense. So that little stuff that Randall will get with those fades, Cantor's gonna be down there to help out. I mean, I don't know why they didn't play him. He's not like Mitchell Robinson was gonna be shooting threes. So Enes Cantor most definitely could have came in and got some PT.
Yeah, I see. Robert Williams played 45 minutes last night. Good God Almighty! So
Right.
if Cantor could have gave him a blow, that would have really helped because that's way too many
Right.
minutes.
And then I think Parker would have been a great matchup for Julius Randle. I mean, they're both about the same size, same weight class. They sort of have the same play style. I mean, that would have been a great switch up to throw at Julius Randle because you can't throw Julius Randle. He's at that level where you can't throw the same defender at him the entire game or the same two defenders at him the entire game. He's going to start to figure out how can I beat them? Where is he like? He wants to drop this left foot, so I can attack this foot, and he's not quick enough to get me on this step back or the turnaround J's. So that would have been a great switch up for them. So I would have liked for him to play those two players a little bit more, just and I would have gave probably gave Jaylen Brown some fresher legs, gave Jason Tatum some fresher legs, gave him a chance, to come out, then come back in and relock back in. So, he's not 7 to 15 or I'm not 7 to 15, not 7 to 30 from the field and 2 of 15 from three.
Yeah, and maybe if Peyton Pritchard could have gave them some more points last night. I see he didn't score last night. So I feel like
Right. I mean, but I seen Peyton Pritchard put up what it was 60 in a summer league game.
yeah, he went
I mean,
crazy.
I understand, it was a summer league game with, amateur players out there and you're a professional, but I mean, 10, 12. I mean, you can't go 0 for 3 from the field. I mean,
Yeah.
you shot 2 threes. Granted, I give you that, but I'm gonna need you, 2, 3, 6, something. We need that. But another team that's going to need a lot from their star players and their role players is going to be the Bengals as they go ahead and take on the Ravens, who are looking to get their 6th win in the row. Keith, who are you taking in this game?
I'm taking the Ravens, just because they're on another level right now. Ever since they lost that opening night game to the Raiders, I was like we talked about yesterday on my show. We were surprised how they were able to, still be able to be successful with all the injuries they had, especially to their running back group. And they're just finding ways to win. Their defense had a really impressive showing last week, shutting down the Chargers and only holding them to 6 points. That was just impressive with all the weapons that the Chargers have. So I expect them to keep it rolling this week and get their 6th win in a row. The Bengals are going to need a big game from Jamar Chase. They'll need Joe Mixon to have at least 100 on the ground and at least 60 to 70 yards in the receiving. And they're going to have to find a way to move the ball in this Ravens defense. But I just don't think the Bengals can slow down Lamar Jackson in this rush attack. And when he needs to, he can throw it to Hollywood, Mark Andrews, and those guys. So I just think the Ravens are going to be a little too much for the Bengals.
Yeah, but for me personally, the only thing that the Bengals could do is pray. You better pray, because the entire league is scratching their head about how they're going to try to stop this Ravens offense. Because if you blitz, then he's just going to pass the ball. He's going to throw the ball over your head, and then you're not going to have any, help. And eventually somebody's going to get a block somewhere, and it's going to be to the crib. If you don't bring no blitz, there's no pocket pressure, and Lamar Jackson he can sit back there all day and try to make a pass. And then if you don't blitz, now you just give him open running lanes for when he wants to escape the pocket. What are you really going to do? This team has been putting up yards every game. They put 189 on the Raiders, 251 on the Chiefs, 116 on the Lions, 102 on the Broncos. We know they had this short running game against the Colts in that comeback win, and they did 187 on the Chargers. Like, everybody's trying to figure out how to stop this team. And it's not just the run game, because those same games, Raiders 217 in the passing yards, Chiefs 230 in passing, Lions 271 in passing, Broncos 304 in passing, Colts 437 in passing, 437 in passing on the Colts. And the Colts had a legit defense. That defense was giving the Ravens problems, and the Ravens ended up figuring them out. And then, after that, he went back and he threw 140 on the Chargers. So I don't know how to stop him. Apparently, those 6 teams right there, they don't know how to stop him either.
Yeah, it's very difficult because if you take away the run, Lamar has gotten so good as a passer. He feels comfortable throwing it to Hollywood, Mark Andrews, and those guys. And Bateman, they added him. He's going to be really special for them. So it's just really difficult. And I know you said blitz, but you got to be careful with that, because if you don't stay in your lanes and you get out of your lanes, you cross the fence, and you let Lamar out the pocket, it's a wrap, because he's special when he gets out in open field.
That's to the crib.
Yeah, so it's really hard to figure out how to stop this offense, but I feel like you got to slow down that rush attack first, because that's their identity. That's what they want to do. And you can't let Hollywood get behind you, because if he catches the ball, it's going to the crib. So, yeah, they're just a handful.
Right. And Hollywood, he's able to get off so much more now because of the acquisition of Sammy Watkins, who came from the Kansas City Chiefs. Not Sean, he's off on Sammy Watkins. Don't know why he's off on Sammy Watkins, but Sammy Watkins, since being at the Buffalo Bills, he hasn't been the number one receiver where he went. He's have to try to get it how you live. He's got to grind. You got to get leftovers. When he was on the Chiefs, he had to get Tyreek Hill leftovers. He had to get Travis Kelce leftovers, and then was it the third option? Yeah, okay. I say he's third
Yeah,
option.
third option
I want to say I'm missing a receiver, but I don't think I'm missing a receiver. Yeah,
for
and it's
for the Chiefs.
yeah,
Well, maybe Miko Hardman, but I don't know. I think Sammy would be
nah,
above. Sammy would be above
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, he had to eat off two other people's leftovers, and that's a little tough. I mean, so now he just got to eat off Hollywood leftovers, and that's a little bit easier because Hollywood he's not really your short route runner. He's more the long deep ball kind of threat, and that's good to have. But your long deep ball threat can't be your number one receiver.
Yeah, and also they got Mark Andrews. So if Sammy Watkins can stay healthy, it seems like he's always hurt. Unfortunately, I think he can be a huge addition to this offense. And you add Bateman, who I think he got activated last week. So yeah, they're loaded, and I think this is going to help Lamar, get better as a passer. Because if he's able to become proficient as a passer, then this offense is just going to become really impossible to stop. So we have to see.
Right. And I don't know why. Like, I mean, I hopefully after this year, I mean, they see these numbers. The almost what is this is over 1,000 passing yards right here. Just eyeballing it. Two, four,
Yeah,
six. Yep, four. Yep, 2, 4, 6, 10. Yeah, this is over 1,000 passing yards. This is almost 1,400 passing yards right now.
yeah,
So
1,600
hope
so far.
how many?
He has 1,686 right now.
Okay, so 1,680 passing yards in 6 games. Hopefully receivers and free agency they see this and be like, okay, you know what, I can go play over here because I think that's one of the main reasons that nobody wanted to go play with the Ravens because there's like, oh, it's a run game heavy offense. I'm not gonna get my numbers, and if you don't get your numbers, you're not getting paid. You're not meeting your incentives, and I can understand that. But now that you see like like Lamar can throw it, and they do throw the ball, and they have games. I mean, they have back-to-back 300 plus games. I mean, and it was almost 3 in a row when they had 271 at the game before the Broncos and the Colts. So you see that he can throw the ball. You see that he can hit his targets. You see that he's accurate. I don't know why, but he's always been one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. So that hopefully that attracts wide receivers in the free agency.
Yeah, hopefully so.
And so kicking back to basketball and opening day, the Lakers and the Warriors they faced off, and it was both the season opener and for the fourth year in a row, the Lakers they lost their season opener. And this year it was to the Golden State Warriors. And the Lakers, they had 17 turnovers, which the Warriors scored 19 points off of. Should we start reacting to this loss against the Warriors, or should we be calm and wait for the season to develop?
Yeah, definitely relax. It's just one game, and when you have so many new pieces like the Lakers have, it's going to probably take a while for this to all come together. And I think when it does, they're going to be really special. I'm not sure why they decided to start DeAndre Jordan and Bazemore. I probably would have tried to get some shooters in there with Braun and Westbrook and AD because I don't think AD and Jordan can play together because the spacing is just so horrible. And I feel like Braun and Westbrook will need more spacing so they can drive the lane, attack the basket, especially Westbrook because Braun he was letting that three go the other night. That was impressive. So I just think Braun and AD they needed Westbrook to help them out because they both went over 30, and the Warriors their ball movement was just ridiculous. I think that was the difference in the game how they were sharing the ball and getting it to open guys. So no need to overreact to this loss. Just try to bounce back Friday against a really good Phoenix team who kind of let one slip away last night.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. I wouldn't overreact to this loss. We're missing some people. I mean, Kendrick Nunn, he wasn't here. Taylor Horton Tucker, he wasn't here. And actually Taylor Horton Tucker would be my starting two guard for this team instead of Kent Bazemore. I mean, but we could have got some more production from DeAndre Jordan. I mean, everybody we played score. I mean, Rondo had the lowest points of 3 points, but hey, Rondo scored. Um, DeAndre Jordan, he only had 2 points. Like out of this whole time, DeAndre Jordan, you only could get 1 layup and 2 rebounds.
Yeah, you gotta do more than that.
Right. I mean, look, I understand LeBron and AD, they grabbed half of the team's rebounds. They had 19 out of 40 rebounds. So I mean, I completely understand that, but you could have had a little bit of more rebounds. We needed something for you. I mean, look, Dwight Howard had 6 rebounds, and he played 13 rebounds to he played 13 minutes to your 13 minutes. So y'all split y'all time 13 minutes apiece. He got 6 rebounds in his time. You got 2 rebounds in your time.
Yeah.
I need him to be a little bit more dominant.
Would you keep him and AD starting together? I don't think that. I don't think it's necessary unless a team plays 2 bigs, and not many NBA teams do that. Most teams, don't play true bigs, so I don't think that's necessary. I think
I
they
mean,
should.
a lot of
Go ahead.
people have been saying that's not necessary.
I don't think so.
Cut me down on your iPad.
Okay.
A lot of people have been saying that having those 2 bigs is not necessary. Having those 2 bigs is not necessary. But look at that championship team. It was JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis. They just have to figure out how they can play together and how to give AD his spacing. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, AD was 15 to 26. Granted that this was a smaller roster, so there wasn't really a lot of help defense. James Wiseman, he wasn't playing tonight for the
Warriors.
Thank you. So it was Draymond Green, who is like at 6'9". So he was having to go 6'8", even worse. So he was having to guard him. So I mean, Iggy was having to guard him. So it was just those little things like that. I mean, I wouldn't worry about this. This is, like we said, it's a new team. They have no chemistry. I mean, the 19 turnovers. We need to do better in that sense. But the positive was that Brian had 4 turnovers. Rondo had 3 turnovers, and then Westbrook, he had 4 turnovers. I mean, as passive as those 3 players are, if you could give me 4 to 3 turnovers a game for each one of those players, I can live with that.
You would prefer not to have none, but I mean, if they're low like
Yeah,
that.
but you're gonna have turnovers because for me, the turnovers are sort of different. Like, let's see, who won here? Like Dwight Howard had 2 turnovers. Like Dwight, why do you have 2 turnovers?
Yeah.
I mean, the ball is not in your hand long enough, and you're not trying to play make for you to have 2 turnovers. See what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if when those 3 have the ball, 9 times out of 10, they are trying to make plays for somebody else. And when you're a pass first kind of person, most of the time you overlook something. You like, I'm gonna try to get this into here. I can feed him. And sometimes like when you making that cut, you like, I don't think he could get this in there. And then lo and behold, LeBron fits that through there, and you look and you like, oh, you try to catch it, and now it's like past you because LeBron, Westbrook, and Rondo, they are that special. I mean, Anthony Davis is used to it, but Avery Bradley, okay, he's used to it. But Melo, he hasn't played with a point guard to the caliber of LeBron, Westbrook, or AD.
Mm-hmm.
Neither has Malik Monk. Neither has DeAndre Jordan. Neither has Kent Bazemore. So it's a learning curve for them. Just as much as a learning curve for LeBron and Rondo and Westbrook to feed them the ball, it's a learning curve for them to learn how to, know when they're open in those 3 players' eyes.
Yeah, I think they need to give Avery Bradley some more run because he gave a big spark in that 4th quarter, hit some big shots, and he really like a defensive stopper. He can get after you're one of the other team's point guard or small shooting guard. So hopefully he can get more than 8 minutes because he was huge in that 4th quarter. So
yeah. All right. So next topic, quick one. We're not going to jump into this really quick. Colts versus 49ers. Who do you got?
I got the 49ers, like I said yesterday on my show. I feel like they had a bye week, so Kyle Shanahan will hopefully figure out a game plan that will be suited around what Trey Lance does best.
Uh, just so you know, Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo are both listed as questionable.
Oh yeah, I
So
saw that.
if neither one of them play, then Nate Sudfeld will be the starting quarterback.
Well, I'm banking on Trey Lance hopefully being available because if Nate Sudfeld is there, I'm probably not going to look at that game. I'm going to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
I disagree with you. I'm gonna go with the Colts in that game. I think the Colts defense is gonna be too much for Trey Lance or Nate Sudfeld. Don't really see Jimmy Garoppolo playing. I mean, Trey Lance is the knee, so I can see Trey Lance coming off the list today and going to practice. So I'm gonna go with the Colts just because more experienced quarterback, more experience the defense. It's gonna give Trey Lance some problems, and there's gonna be Trey Lance third game starting this year.
I think third or fourth. I think.
Yeah, so I'm not really too sure about it. I can't say I'm not too sure about Matt Jones starting in his third game and stuff like that, and I be different on Trey Lance. All right, so Hornets had the close win at the end over the Pacers, 123-122. Melo had a very Melo light game. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He was 11-23 from the field goal and 7-9 from the three-point line. How impressed were you with Melo in this game?
I was very impressed. I thought the Pacers were trying to impersonate the Falcons, blowing that big lead like they did. But the Hornets, it was just very impressive. Melo, he brings a flair and excitement to the games, and he really had the Spectrum Center rocking last night. He couldn't miss from deep, and I think that was huge and a big comeback win for them. And I think this team is going to be very special if Gordon Hayward can stay healthy. And Melo, 31 points, 7-9 from deep. That was just huge, and can't wait to see how far this team can go this year.
Yeah, I disagree with you, man. I'm not impressed at all. I've been saying this is what Melo was going to do since before he got into the league, since he was with the Hawks in Australia. I've been saying, Melo different. Melo's going to be special. So I'm not really impressed by it because this is what I expect from Melo every day in and out. Led the team on points and assists. He was 1 rebound shy of leading his team in rebounds. He had 9 rebounds. I think Miles Bridges had 10. So he was 1 rebound shy of that. But the only thing that I could say that was bad about that game is that he didn't make his presence known in the last 5 minutes and 30 seconds. He had 2 assists. He had a couple of rebounds, but he didn't score in that last 5 minutes and 30 seconds. He led the team in a comeback, but I need you to finish that because that's what your star players do. They lead you in that comeback, and they're going to finish that comeback. I mean, granted, Miles Bridges did a great job getting fouled, hit both free throws in the clutch to win the game, but that should have been. I understand it's a team sport, but if you're gonna be a leader of that team, that should have been Melo.
Yeah, because I think he had 28 points at the end of the third quarter, and he finished with 31. So I see what you're saying there.
Yeah. All right. Panthers trying to bounce back this week versus the Giants. Think they can do it? No Chris McCaffrey, no Saquon Barkley, both of them out. So both teams playing with backup running backs.
Yeah, I think the key for the Panthers is you're gonna have to eliminate the turnovers, like I was stating yesterday. And they're during this 3-game losing streak, they have 8 turnovers, and in their 3 wins, they only have 1 turnover combined in those 3 games. So whichever quarterback doesn't turn the ball over and give it to the other team, I think will win this game. But I got the Panthers winning. I just can't see them losing to the Giants. The Giants are really bad, and they should win this game by at least 7 to 10 points. And like you said, hopefully they overcome their third quarter woes because they are really awful in the third quarter. So we shall see.
Right. I disagree with you. I'm gonna have to go with the Giants. I'm gonna go with the Giants because Daniel Jones, like we said yesterday, he's not that bad this year. Daniel Jones, we out of these 6 games, we see that Daniel Jones is not the problem. He just team isn't really healthy. I mean, no Saquon Barkley, John Ross running back, he's questionable. Kadarius Tooney, he's doubtful. Kenny Galladay is questionable. I mean, his tight end is questionable. Darius Slayton is questionable. I mean, he don't really have his weapons. But Daniel Jones has been hooping. Daniel Jones, he's not been turnover happy. He's not been fumble happy. I mean, he has 4 interceptions in 6 games. I mean, last year in 6 games, Daniel Jones already had 6+ interceptions. So just need to let the team be healthy. Let the team be healthy. I think they'll come back. I mean, he has 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
Already. I mean, so he's hitting players. I mean, 1,500 yards, 287 yards, a game. He's hitting players. He just needs to, put everything together. Everything just needs to come together.
One quick thing, I think a thing that could be concerning, the Giants' offensive line isn't very good, and the Panthers do have a good front four, really a front seven. So, how the Giants' tackles deal with Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick, that's going to be huge. Because Hassan Reddick, he had 5 sacks on Daniel Jones last year, and I know Daniel Jones shouldn't have been playing, but I think he's going to be hungry, try to get some sacks on Daniel Jones because their offensive line isn't very good. That's also a factor in why they haven't been good.
Right. All right. So last thing before we go, guys, I know we ran over time just a little bit. So NBA predictions. Tonight, we got 3 games. First game is the Bucks versus Heat. Who are you watching with?
I got the Bucks in a very close game.
Bucks in a very close game. I'm agreeing with you. I got the Bucks. The Bucks have got 1 game under their belt. The Heat have not played yet, so we don't really know, how chemistry with
Kyle
Jimmy
Lowry.
Butler and Kyle Lowry will be.
Yeah.
So second game, Mavericks versus Celtics. Both of their opening night. Both of their first games of the season. Who you rocking with?
I'm rocking my Ice Tray.
Ooh, okay. I mean, I'm gonna go with Ice Tray just because, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, one thing that I'm gonna look for is to see how Kristaps Porzingis plays tonight. I mean, because we talked about Kristaps Porzingis not being effective down the line in the playoffs, so we're gonna be looking forward to seeing how he took that criticism during the offseason and how he is trying to come out there and help Luka.
For sure. Luka's going to need some help tonight against the Hawks.
Right. So Clippers versus Warriors.
Ooh, this is going to be a great game, but I like what I saw from the Warriors the other day, and I think they built on it, and I got them winning their home opener.
Right. I believe Kawhi Leonard is not playing tonight, correct?
No, I think he won't be coming back to like March, April, May.
See, that's what I thought. So yeah, I'm going with the Warriors.
Yeah, because Paul George, he's going to have to go back to the Indiana Pacers, Paul George, for them to be relevant this season.
That is going to be exciting.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be a great game, a lot of points, and I can't wait. We got 3 good games tonight, so I can't wait.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of J Wall Sports. If you guys have not, make sure you guys follow Keith on his Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, if he has Facebook. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Keith, go ahead and shout yourself out. Tell them where to follow you at.
You can follow me on Twitter at official_Keith3, and our Twitter page is Keith's Hot Takes. And me, Lamarck, and Ruff, we got a episode coming out tomorrow at 12:30 on YouTube, so you can subscribe to that. At Keith's Hot Takes, it's Keith's Hot Takes homecoming episode tomorrow, so y'all don't want to miss that. And I'm glad I could come on and be on your show today, bro.
Hey, man, there's no problem, man. We always love having you on the show. You always get such great points. So if you guys have not, go ahead and follow me at JWall Sports on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow my personals. They're in all of our bios. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, and we appreciate you guys for listening to us and watching us on YouTube.